Sir Topham Hatt takes pride in his railway being a safe space for steam engines, but he thinks diesel engines are useful too. Diesel engines don't need turntables like mainline tender engines do. They can pull passengers or freight in either direction. "You're versatile," he'd say to Boko Bear and Derek. "That means you can do different jobs well." The Sudrian diesels took pride in this. Versatile or not, any engine can still get grief from troublesome trucks. Poor Henry found this out one day after coming off the tracks at Gordon's Hill. Sir Topham Hatt sent him to the works, but another engine was needed at once. A diesel named Andy was to come to Sodor the very next morning to do Henry's jobs. When he arrived at the sheds, the engines were surprised. A long time ago, when Stepney first visited Sodor, Andy was on trial. He was quickly sent away in disgrace after inhaling an inspector's bowler hat into his air intake. From then on, everyone only called him Bowler. "Sodor is an overgrown heritage railway," Andy said rudely. "On my railway, steam engines stay in their shed and can't go on the main line without special permission." Boko, the friendly diesel, stood up for his friends. "Stay outside if you're so proud about it," he said. James hissed, "That old stuck-up diesel will never change." A few days later, Duck was in the yard shunting steel trucks for Andy and ballast trucks for Bear. He saw the stuck-up diesel sleeping in the siding. "That's better," Andy said groggily. "How can anyone sleep with the steam engines hissing and clanking?" Duck was annoyed. "Will you please get a move on already?" he wheezed. Andy was cross. "Once Sir Topham Hatt sees how useful I am, he'll get rid of you steam engines once and for all." Duck ignored the mean diesel and went to his siding. The ballast trucks overheard this. They were the naughtiest trucks in the yard, and they quickly came up with a plan. When Andy backed onto the steel train, the ballast trucks began to sing.
Is that all you can haul? Henry's loads are longer. Is that all you can haul? Henry must be stronger.
This made Andy cross. He was sure he was stronger than Henry. Then he had an idea. "I will take the ballast trucks away from Bear and pull them and the steel train at the same time. That will show Sir Topham Hatt that diesels are best." The trucks giggled.
Push us all, that's the longest. Push us all, you'll be the strongest.
Andy smiled smugly. "That's me," he boasted, "the world's strongest engine." So Andy shunted 20 ballast trucks in front of 20 steel trucks. 40 trucks in total. "What is that stuck-up fool Bowler doing?" James asked when he came into the yard. Duck laughed. "He thinks he's the world's strongest engine." Since Andy didn't leave on time, the points were set towards the shed. The troublesome trucks knew this, but they encouraged Andy to pull anyway.
Heave ho, you can pull but we won't go,
chanted the trucks. This made Andy very cross. He pulled, and he pulled, and he pulled. The trucks laughed, as did James and Duck, but then there was trouble. Andy was growling and pulling so hard that the coupler between him and the trucks broke. Andy went flying off towards the engine shed, but the tracks were oily since the other diesels were resting there earlier. "Oh no, I'm slipping," Andy wailed. "Help! Crikeys! Not me!" Andy skidded all the way to the back of the shed and crashed through the back of the wall with a bang. The ballast trucks laughed so hard that their loads almost spilled out. Andy wasn't badly damaged, but there was now a big hole in the engine shed. Duck was laughing so hard, his face turned as red as James's paint. Later, Sir Topham Hatt arrived with Henry, who was now all fixed. Sir Topham Hatt spoke severely to Andy. "When people say leave a good impression, they don't mean literally." He then pointed at the hole in the wall Andy had made. "Your controller is at Vickerstown. I will tell him personally how foolish you've been. Can you make up for lost time, Henry?" Henry puffed with pride as he pulled Andy out of the engine shed and hauled him all the way to Vickerstown at the end of the line. Derek and Bear arrived shortly to take away the trucks, who were still laughing long after Andy had left. That night at the sheds, everyone else enjoyed a good laugh too. "Oh, ho, ho, old stuck-up came unstuck," chortled Henry. "I say, Boko, what does Sir Topham Hatt call you?" "Versatile," said Boko. "Why?" Henry smirked. Because that's not what I heard him call Mr. World's Strongest Engine Andy, he said. I didn't quite catch all he said, but it didn't sound very polite. As the big engines and friendly diesels laughed, Duck whispered to James. Even troublesome trucks can do you a favor sometimes, he puffed. Like getting rid of an old stuck-up diesel, James finished. The end.